First off, a massive congratulations to you. You have done it. You've got your Subclass 864 Contributory Aged Parent Visa. Welcome to Australia. This is such a huge milestone, and today we're going to break down exactly what this new chapter means for you. Okay, let's dive right in.
So you're holding this visa, you're officially an Australian permanent resident. But what does that actually mean for your life? You know, day to day. What can you do now that you couldn't do before? We're going to get into all of that nice and simple.
All right, first things first, let's get right to the heart of it, understanding your new status. Because once you really get what permanent residency means, everything else is going to fall into place.
I want you to look at that one word there, indefinitely. It's such a simple word, but it is so powerful. Your Subclass 864 visa isn't some temporary pass. It's a permanent visa, and that means you now have the right to call Australia home for good.
And here's what indefinitely really looks like in practice. It means you can stay here forever. It opens up the doors to working and studying whatever you want, wherever you want. You're protected by Aussie laws, you can get into the healthcare system, Medicare, and you can even sponsor other family members to join you down the track. And of course, this is your first big step toward becoming an Australian citizen. These are the real-world building blocks of your new life here.
So that's the big picture. Now, let's zoom in a little bit on the practical, day-to-day benefits. What are you entitled to starting right now?
This is so important. The moment you start any job here, you have the full protection of Australian workplace laws. That's not a bonus, it's your absolute right. It means fair pay, safe conditions, the whole deal. And just as important, you can now enroll in Medicare, which gives you access to Australia's excellent public healthcare system.
Okay, now for a quick heads up. When we talk about government payments, things like Social Security, it's important to know there's usually a waiting period for new residents. The government agency you'll want to look up is called Services Australia. Their website has all the details, so you can see exactly how it applies to you. Of course, with all these amazing new rights, there are a few key responsibilities that come along with them. But don't worry, they're really straightforward, and they're just about making sure your life here runs smoothly. It really just boils down to these three things. First, and this one's a no-brainer, you've got to obey all Australian laws. Second, if you move or your situation changes, you need to let the Department of Home Affairs know. And third, it's really on you to know what your specific visa conditions are.
So you might be thinking, how do I keep track of all that? Well, the government gives you a fantastic, free online tool called VEVO. It stands for Visa Entitlement Verification Online. And you should think of it as your own personal visa dashboard. It's super useful. VEVO is basically your one-stop shop for everything to do with your visa. You can log in anytime to see your conditions, double-check your work rights, and even show it to an employer to prove you're allowed to work. It's the quickest, most official way to get info on your visa. Okay, this next part is absolutely critical, especially if you plan on traveling overseas at any point. Let's talk about leaving and, more importantly, re-entering Australia as a permanent resident. I want you to burn this number into your memory. 5 years. From the exact date your permanent visa was granted, you have a 5-year travel facility. Think of it like a multi-entry pass that's good for 5 years. You can leave and come back as many times as you like within that window.
So what happens when that 5-year clock runs out? Well, you've got two clear paths. Path number one, if you want to stay a permanent resident and keep traveling, you'll need to apply for what's called a Resident Return Visa, or RRV. Now, the key thing here is you generally need to have been living in Australia for at least 2 of those last 5 years to get it. Path number 2 is the long-term play. Become an Australian citizen. Once you're a citizen, you'll never need a visa to enter Australia ever again.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? As a permanent resident, coming back into Australia is always tied to having a valid visa with a travel facility. As an Australian citizen, you just need your Australian passport. It really is that simple. It's the biggest difference when it comes to travel.
Your visa isn't just about today. It's the foundation for your entire future and your family's future in Australia. So let's look at what that can mean.
You know, one of the most powerful things about your new status is the chance to build your community right here with you. You may now be eligible to sponsor other family members to come join you in Australia. The department's website is the best place to start exploring those options for your loved ones.
And I'm going to leave you with one final and really exciting piece of information that a lot of people miss. That clock, the one that counts down your eligibility for Australian citizenship, well, it started ticking the very same day your permanent visa was granted. Your journey to that next huge milestone has already begun.
So there you have it. You've got the visa, you understand your rights and responsibilities, and you can see the path ahead. This is an absolutely incredible starting line. The only question left is, what will you build from here?